The words you've encountered here are far more than ink on a page or pixels on a screen. They are a lifeline cast across dimensions, a summons from realms unseen, crafted with precision for your eyes alone. This is no ordinary message. It pulses with the rhythm of divine timing, a celestial alarm ringing through the corridors of your life to shake awake what has lain dormant. The universe itself has conspired to bring these truths to light, bending the arc of fate toward justice, toward restoration, toward the reclamation of all that was snatched from your grasp. What follows is a tapestry woven from threads of urgency, revelation, and hope, a roadmap to uncover what shadows have buried and to step into the abundance etched into your destiny. Imagine, if you will, a courtroom in the heavens, where witnesses from generations past gather, ancestors whose blood runs in your veins, angels with scrolls of ancient covenants, and the divine judge who sees every hidden deed. At the center of this cosmic tribunal lies your story, the unfulfilled promises, the diverted inheritances, the whispered lies that rewrote your history. A loved one who crossed the veil stands as your fiercest advocate, their voice trembling with passion as they recount every stolen opportunity, every document altered under cover of darkness, every smile that masked treachery. They have walked the halls of eternity gathering evidence, and now the gavel falls. The verdict: restoration. But justice in the earthly realm requires your partnership, your courage to act on what the Spirit has long whispered. Let us speak plainly of the theft. This is not merely about currency or property, though those are pieces of the puzzle. This is about identity. Your true lineage carries a mantle of prosperity, a generational blessing meant to propel you into purpose. But like a river dammed by greed, those resources were rerouted. Perhaps a will was forged, a signature manipulated after a funeral. Maybe a relative, cloaked in false concern, convinced a grieving parent to shift assets for your own good. Or a business partner siphoned profits through shell companies, exploiting your trust. The methods vary, but the wound is the same. You were told a story about your life that omitted your royalty. You felt it in the dissonance, the nagging sense that your struggles don't align with your efforts, that others' fortunes seem suspiciously disproportionate to their character. Now envision the veil thinning. Your celestial advocate, a grandmother, a father, a sibling gone too soon, stands at the intersection of time and eternity. They see the full mosaic: the lawyer who buried a codicil, the aunt who pocketed heirlooms, the banker who closed accounts after a midnight phone call. From their vantage, every lie is transparent. They've watched you navigate a maze designed to keep you lost, your resilience a quiet rebellion against the narrative others crafted. Their anguish burns not for what they lost, but for what you never knew to claim. And so they've stormed the gates of heaven, demanding divine intervention. Enough. They've cried. Let the scales fall from their eyes, the signs you've dismissed as coincidence. They're breadcrumbs on a trail blazed by angels. That dream where you wandered through a house filled with locked doors, each room symbolizing a closed-off truth. The stranger who mentioned a town your grandfather once owned land in, jolting a memory of childhood stories. The sudden impulse to search an old trunk in the attic, where yellowed letters hint at trusts never dissolved. These are not random. They're divine algorithms, calculated to guide you toward confrontation and closure. Even now, forces are at work. A probate clerk stumbles upon misfiled paperwork. A dying confidant wrestles with guilt, ready to unburden their soul. A storm damages a roof, revealing hidden compartments in floorboards. The universe is quite literally rearranging itself to expose what's yours. But be warned, reclamation is not a passive endeavor. The adversary thrives in complacency. He'll amplify doubts. Why stir the past? He'll hiss. You're being greedy. Let it go. He'll send messengers of distraction. A sudden crisis at work, a relationship tension, an illness, anything to divert your focus. He'll even weaponize well-meaning voices. Stop living in fantasy, a friend may chide, unaware they're echoing ancient lies. This is spiritual warfare. And your armor is discernment. When a name repeats in a song, a conversation, a billboard, write it down. When sleep brings visions of ledgers or property lines, sketch them upon waking. When a memory surfaces of a relative's evasive eyes during a will reading, honor that intuition. Consider the story of a woman we'll call Miriam. For years she accepted her role as the family's perpetual struggler until a recurring dream showed her mother weeping beside an empty vault. Miriam hired a forensic genealogist. Buried in county archives? A deed to mineral-rich land signed over to a shell corporation by an uncle she trusted. Or James, who dismissed his late father's ramblings about boxes in the walls until a kitchen renovation revealed hollow bricks stuffed with bonds. These aren't parables, they're patterns. The universe always leaves trails for the persistent. Your path forward demands both spiritual and practical action. Begin in prayer, yes, but also in pragmatism. Light a candle, speak your ancestors' names and ask for clarity. Then email the probate court. Meditate on scriptures of inheritance, the Lord is your portion, then schedule a consultation with an estate attorney. Faith without works is a melody without rhythm. You must dance to both. Resistance will come cloaked as reason. A cousin may block your access to family records. A clerk might lose requested documents. Legal fees may mount, testing your resolve. This is where the celestial and the earthly collide. As you press forward, unseen allies dismantle barriers. A paralegal guided by divine empathy takes extra time on your case. A forgotten witness discovers old photos proving your claims. A judge feels an uncharacteristic nudge to revisit a decades-old file. And then the breakthrough. It may arrive as a letter with an official seal, a call from a trembling voice seeking forgiveness, or a discovery in a place you'd stopped searching. The floodgates open. What was stolen doesn't merely return, it multiplies as divine interest compounds over the years of delay. But the greater treasure is the shattering of lies. You'll glimpse your true reflection, not a victim of chaos, but an heir whose birthright was delayed, not denied. This journey will rewrite your lineage. The child who watches you fight for truth learns to question surface narratives. The cousin who once benefited from silence feels the weight of their complicity and perhaps seeks redemption. A cycle of lack, broken in your lifetime, becomes a new inheritance for those who follow. You are the pivot point. The ancestor who guides you didn't endure their own trials merely to watch you surrender. Their battles in life, the ones you never knew about, were fought in faith that you would finish what they started. When you reclaim your portion, you heal their unresolved grief. You silence the taunts of lack that haunted their final days. You become the answer to prayers they whispered generations ago. In the quiet, Ask for a sign and watch. The butterfly lands on a ledger date. A podcast episode details inheritance laws just as you hit a wall. A librarian happens to assist you with archival research. These are winks from the divine, nods that you're on trail. There's a deadline, child of destiny, not set by man, but by the convergence of cosmic readiness. Wait too long, and evidence crumbles. Witnesses pass. Records disintegrate. But act now, aligned with this celestial momentum, and the path lights up. The ancestors' plea merges with your action, creating a master key to unlock every sealed door. You were born for this hour. The tears you've shed, the nights spent wondering why does everything feel so hard, they were the birth pangs of this revelation. The financial restoration is merely the first fruit. The deeper harvest is the resurrection of your God-given identity. No longer a beggar to circumstance, but a sovereign. So rise. Light the candle. Make the call. Open the journal. The angels stand at attention. The ancestor leans in, breathless with anticipation. The divine nods now. The story they tried to bury becomes the anthem of your triumph. And as you step into your full inheritance, know this: generations behind you cheer, and generations ahead will bless your name. In the quiet spaces where the soul meets eternity, a profound truth stirs, a whisper from beyond the veil, carried on the breath of divine intention. This is not merely a message, but a celestial summons, a call to awaken to what has long been obscured. For years, shadows have lingered at the edges of your awareness, subtle hints of a story untold, a chapter left unwritten in the ledger of your life. Now the hour has come to illuminate these hidden corners, to unravel the threads of a mystery that has silently shaped your journey. What was once concealed in the folds of time and human frailty is rising to the surface, propelled by a force greater than any earthly power, a force that sees beyond masks, beyond lies, beyond the carefully constructed illusions that have kept you from your rightful inheritance. At the heart of this revelation lies a truth about legacy, a financial blessing meant to flow through generations, like a river destined to nourish the valleys of your life. Yet somewhere along its course, this river was dammed, its waters diverted by hands that operated in secrecy. You felt the absence of this current, haven't you? A lingering sense of lack, an unexplained friction in your steps, as if walking against an unseen tide. These were not mere misfortunes, but echoes of a disruption, a fracture in the divine blueprint for your prosperity. The roots of this obstruction run deep, tangled in choices made long before you, in agreements forged behind closed doors, in whispers exchanged where light could not reach. But the architect of time has been watching. Every hushed conversation, every document tucked away, every decision made in the dim glow of self-interest, all of it has been recorded in a ledger far older than any human record. The divine gaze pierces through facades, seeing not only the actions but the intentions that propelled them. There are those who believed their schemes were buried forever, their secrets safe in the silence of complacency. Yet nothing remains hidden under the sun of eternity. What was stolen, manipulated, or withheld now trembles on the precipice of exposure. This awakening comes not through human cleverness, but through a sacred collaboration between heaven and earth. A bridge has been formed between realms. A loved one who now dwells in the radiance of the divine presence has become an advocate for your cause. Their voice, amplified by holy authority, has interceded on your behalf, turning the wheels of cosmic justice. Their love for you transcends the boundary between life and death, compelling them to bring this burden before the throne of grace. They've witnessed the ripple effects of what was taken, seen the weight you've carried unknowingly, and now, through divine permission, they partner with Providence to restore what was always yours. The matter at hand transcends mere currency, it is about destiny. These resources, wrongfully intercepted, were meant to fuel your purpose, to lift barriers from your path, to unlock doors that have remained stubbornly closed. Their absence has been a silent thief, stealing not just material comfort but the momentum of your God-given potential. Yet the tide is turning. The same divine hand that parted seas and crumbled walls is now orchestrating a reversal of fortunes. What was blocked will burst forth. What was buried will rise. This is not wishful thinking, but the immutable promise of a God who specializes in resurrecting what the world declared dead. Resistance will come not as a sign of doubt, but as confirmation that you're nearing the breakthrough. Those who benefited from the shadows will cling to their illusions, deploying distractions, dismissals, and deceit to maintain their grip. They may wear familiar faces, relatives who hid truths, advisors who misdirected, even friends who downplayed your instincts. Their urgency to silence your pursuit will intensify as divine light nears their hiding places. But their fear is your compass, their pushback proof you're on the right path. Wisdom will be your greatest ally. This journey requires discernment sharper than any sword, a willingness to question narratives you once accepted, to reinterpret past events through the lens of emerging truth. Documents will surface. Long-forgotten conversations will resurface with new significance, and patterns will emerge like constellations in a once clouded sky. What once seemed random, a casual remark, a strange reaction, a recurring name will click into place like pieces of a divine puzzle. Prayer becomes both weapon and compass. In the stillness of communion, strategies will be downloaded, unconventional ideas, divine appointments, sudden opportunities that bypass earthly roadblocks. Doors will open that bear no relation to your resume. Favor will find you in unlikely places, and synchronicities will multiply. These are not accidents, but mile markers on the road to restoration. The restoration process will be as much internal as external. As layers of deception peel away, you'll confront hard truths about trust, loyalty, and the complexity of human nature. Relationships may fracture under the weight of revelation, but what falls away will be what was never meant to remain. New alliances will form, those marked by transparency, courage, and shared commitment to truth. Your spiritual resilience will grow roots deeper than any storm as you learn to lean not on human understanding but on the unshakable certainty of divine guidance. Timing is critical. Heaven's clock operates on a rhythm that often confounds earthly impatience. There will be moments when silence seems unbearable, when the lack of visible progress tempts you to force outcomes. But premature moves could muddy waters that divine hands are already clarifying. Your role is to stay alert, obedient to each nudging, acting when prompted, waiting when instructed, trusting that every divine delay serves a purpose. The breakthrough, when it comes, will be multifaceted. Financial restitution is merely the surface, a symbol of deeper reconciliations. Chains of generational lack will snap, freeing not just you but those who follow. Wisdom gained through this trial will position you as a guide for others navigating similar battles. Your testimony will become a beacon, proving that no darkness is permanent, No theft irreversible under the jurisdiction of heaven. This journey will redefine your understanding of justice. It's not vengeance, but reclamation, a resetting of scales tipped by greed. Those who wronged you may face consequences, but this process isn't about their punishment. It's about your liberation. Forgiveness becomes a surprising ally, not excusing wrongdoing, but preventing its poison from lingering in your soul. As the pieces fall into place, you'll sense a profound realignment, body, soul, and spirit syncing with a destiny that once felt just out of reach. Projects that stalled will find fresh wind. Ideas that seemed impractical will unfold with miraculous ease, and favor will envelop you like armor. The inheritance you reclaim will be more than money. It's the full expression of your purpose, unblocked and unapologetic. Stand firm when storms of doubt rage. The enemy of your soul will amplify fears, resurrect past failures, and magnify obstacles. Counter these attacks with declarations of faith, not denying the struggle, but affirming the greater truth of divine victory. Each step forward, however small, is a brick in the road to triumph. Remember, you're not alone. A great cloud of witnesses, ancestors of faith, loved ones who've passed, heavenly warriors, cheers you on. Their collective strength infuses your prayers. Their triumphs remind you of what's possible. The loved one interceding for you sees the end from the beginning and rejoices at what's unfolding, even when you see only fragments. In practical terms, stay vigilant. Review old records with fresh eyes. Consult ethical professionals, lawyers, financial advisors, archivists who can help trace paper trails. Listen to intuition during family gatherings. Notice who deflects questions about the past, who reacts oddly to certain topics. Document everything: memories, dreams, recurring themes, as divine insight often comes in fragments that coalesce over time. Celebrate small victories along the way. Each uncovered document, each clarified memory, each act of courage to confront the unknown is a triumph. These are stones of remembrance, marking your progress for darker days when the path seems unclear. Ultimately, this is a story of identity. The enemy sought not just to steal resources, but to distort your sense of worth, to make you settle for crumbs when a feast was prepared. As truth emerges, you'll rediscover your voice, the courage to demand what's yours, the discernment to reject counterfeits, the audacity to walk in wholeness. The dawn is breaking. Shadows that once seemed permanent are retreating. What was lost, finances, opportunities, peace of mind, is being restored with interest. Walk forward, not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence, knowing heaven's court has ruled in your favor. The battle may not be easy, but it's already won. Your role is to steward the victory with grace, wisdom, and a heart open to the profound healing that flows when divine justice kisses human need. This is your exodus moment, a divine migration from barren deserts of lack to landscapes overflowing with abundance, from tangled mazes of confusion to sunlit paths of crystalline clarity, from muffled anguish to victorious proclamations that shake the foundations of old limitations. Watch as towering walls of opposition crumble, as seas of obstruction peel back to reveal roadways paved with destiny. Heaven's manna, unexpected, timely, precisely measured, will materialize to nourish your journey, while ancient promises awaken like dormant seeds bursting through winter's crust. The pillar of sacred presence blazes before you, a luminous compass reshaping nights into navigable horizons, reorienting every misstep into purposeful strides. Chains of generational lack snap as celestial audits expose hidden caches of provision, rerouting stolen blessings back to their rightful heir. This is no gradual shift, but a tectonic realignment, the collision of eternity's timeline with earthly delays, resurrecting what injustice sought to bury. Stand armored in faith, for the whirlwind of revelation now descends, scattering deception like chaff, exhuming sealed records, and anointing you to tread upon serpents of sabotage. The promised land ahead glimmers not as distant myth, but as inheritance etched in divine covenants, awaiting your arrival since stars first sang creation into being. Stars, for the trumpet of liberation sounds, your pilgrimage from captivity to coronation has commenced.